What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Oh my God, is it that time?
It is that time again.
Oh my God, it's Thursday Night Chaser. We actually, aren't we on episode? I know we're on episode 1.
Yes.
I heard a rumor.
What's that?
Are we on a special episode 1? Or am I mistaken?
We are on the first time for the first episode where we have Fans First Sports Network keeping the lights on for us, our drinking buddy, our bartender. Yay!
Yay! I don't want to say that we're too legit. We are.
Mm-hmm.
And since we talked about the bartender, and Digi, you went first. What are you drinking?
Oh, coffee and black velvet, of course.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys, have a favorite. I have sponsored, not sponsored today.
Mm-hmm.
So Sonic Cherry / Boy Do I Miss Thee. And I have a little bit of a spike thing in here. Woo. Some nice vodka from the Russians.
So the Amanda shot.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yes. I could do a horrible fake accent chick from Bridget Nielsen from Rocky 4. Yeah. But I can't. So anyways.
Yeah.
So
no, let's not. Okay.
I'll tell you, I'm nervous.
Why?
Well, because this is a real episode 1. And
You'll be fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
let's try warming up. We
All
have
right.
birthdays.
It's been a while since we've been around.
Yes.
So if I repeat anybody, I'm sorry. But we had people like Darren Young had a birthday. Andrade, the Ocho.
Oh.
The Ocho. Butch had a
Mm.
birthday. I still can't call him Butch. It's too done, god damn it. Daddy Ass had a birthday.
Nice.
Uh Leo Rush. Is he injured right now or did he retire
Yes.
again?
He's injured still.
Oh, okay. Okay. But I will say that this last run of his last coming back from retirement has been the best of them all, I think, personally.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Randy Savage, if he were alive. Happy birthday. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And if you like twins, the Bellas had a birthday.
The
Is
Garcia
Elias still a
twins.
thing or no?
Is what?
Elias, is he still a thing?
No, I think he
No.
got released.
Oh, well, sorry, bro, but happy birthday.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Beth Phoenix. Beth. Oh my God.
Amazon.
Amazon. Happy birthday, girlfriend. Yes, I'm waiting for her to come and like kick some ass in that AEW women's division. You know, just to do it. Like show up Britt Baker. Like, let me show you girl how to wrestle.
That'd be nice.
And of course, Davey Boy Smith Sr., British Bulldog.
Ooh.
Happy birthday. Eric Rowan. Happy birthday. Also, this is a special. Well, Dana Brooke. She was released too, right? Aren't all these? I don't know. I don't watch.
Yes and no.
I don't watch the Fed, so I don't know. But today is special because why? Trinity's having her birthday today. So, girl, glow on. Happy birthday.
DNA, killing it.
Mm-hmm. And then my father, Christian, everybody's favorite father. Happy birthday. I hope your kids got you good presents. But honestly, those names that you named them, like, I'm sorry, Luchasaurus is still Luchasaurus. I don't know
Yeah,
what the name he was
what do
given.
you get for the guy that has a dinosaur?
I don't know. Honestly, that's a very good question. If you guys know what you would give a guy that has a dinosaur, let us know.
Or
Because
a
I have no.
dinosaur? Or why call him kill? Well, let's continue
wait.
with birthdays because that's an
Yeah,
entire
no.
different tangent.
No. No, because that's it for the birthdays until next time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Christmas.
Yeah. But there were some good ones in there that we missed. But speaking of going back to that topic, Kill Switch. That was Swerve's name in Lucha Underground. How the
Yes.
hell did they get away with that? Because, me as one of those kind of fans, I'm like, what? Why are we using Swerve Strickland's name from
Well,
Lucha
I
Underground?
don't think anybody's kept the copyrights up on that.
No, but I thought he also had a move that was the kill switch as well. But doesn't
Everybody and
Christian
their
have one?
brother
I don't
has one
know.
of those. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, I guess when you buy a guy who's got a dinosaur and
What do
a
you give him?
little
A
twink.
tie? A watch? I mean, what do you give him?
Well, and he has a twink too with him.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yes. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's a thinker right there.
yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Gift card, probably gonna have to go with a gift card. I would say to Amazon because you can get almost anything on Amazon. There you
Yeah. Or if you're a spiteful and you get it for wish.com.
go. Wow. Yeah, so for Christmas, what did you get you? Oh, he got me a gift card from wish.com.
Might have to do that for March this year. Just to see what happens.
Or no, you know what would be great is if you gave like Bishop a gift card from Pro Wrestling Tees. Or actually, I think they have individual ones that are for the Shop AEW. That would be
yeah. I'd make him buy from Impact.
Oh no.
They have some good shirts though.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. I mean, the man did watch Full Gear.
Mm.
I will say that. So, just saying.
Speaking of Full Gear and all of that,
Mhm.
you had a field trip.
I did.
Why don't you tell us about the field trip?
Well, it was a great little field trip. It started off,
Mhm.
it was a little short, and the only reason why my AEW adventure was only just Full Gear is because Chris Hero was
Mhm.
wrestling his first match back from the indies. It's been over 3 years since he's wrestled, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the last time he did wrestle wasn't it in NXT, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I know that
yeah, I've read them on
had a
there.
lot of psychological effects, but guess who he was wrestling? Of course, one of our favorites. I know Marsh is
Thatcher.
gonna have to go and watch this one. Timothy Thatcher, Toothless Timmy. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, and I will tell you that, a lot of buzz around was, "Man, Hero hasn't wrestled, he looks like shit," you know, "What the hell is he," "What's he gonna do? It's gonna be horrible," and blah, blah, blah. No.
Yep.
What was amazing is that it was almost as if he never stopped. I mean, he delivered some of those elbows, holy crap. I mean, they were brutal. And then, of course, you know how Thatcher is, with a lot of his submissions. And it was great because the first, like, maybe 4 or 5 minutes was all mat wrestling. And of course, me, woohoo, love that. Love it. But I will say that it was an amazing match, and it is on YouTube, on West Coast Pros uh YouTube, and he is wrestling again this weekend on Sunday. It's on YouTube, and he's teaming up with Kenta.
Yeah, something about I couldn't really understand the audio. He's somebody who wants to be a bully or something like
Oh
that. That's
yes,
why
so they're wrestling Kevin Blackwood and the champ of West Coast Pro, Titus Alexander. Titus Alexander also was, if you want to say, hey, who is this guy? A couple weeks ago, it was in Oakland when he wrestled Will Hobbs, and Will Hobbs smashed him, disposed of him of like a minute and a half. But, that's what happens. And so, but I will say it's worth the watch. I mean, the show itself was awesome. I mean, there's a match, Alpha Zoe, and of course, my personal favorite, new indie guy I discovered this year, Brian Keith, the Bounty Hunter. Oh man, it was a really great, great show. So, but next day, I flew very early to the City of
Mhm.
Angels and went to Full Gear. Now, I say this about Full Gear. Um, the Forum is totally an old school building. It reminds me of the Coliseum in Oakland. Now, the only problem, and I felt bad for anybody who really couldn't see the ring, because they did not use video screens at all, because the roof was so high that they couldn't put it looked like it was a struggle to get the tag belt thing in, because when you looked
Mhm.
up, you're like, well, where would they put all this lighting rigs? So it was very interesting that they didn't have it, and a lot of people complained about it. They did during, which match was it? The Hangman and Swerve match. Yes, they did show a little bit of on the screen, but people also have to remember too is, when they're filming, you really can't show the screen because
Yeah.
for whatever. I don't know. I don't understand this. That's way beyond my pay grade here. And yeah, so I just was like, oh, okay. It was very interesting. This crowd, because this is now my third pay-per-view AEW this year. Who would have thought that? Not me. Um, it was a very interesting crowd. Like,
Mhm.
there's one guy that was in the front row. I was hard cam that I saw on what the hell was that one this weekend on
Uh,
WWE?
Which one of the Survivor Series?
Oh, is this Survivor Series? Okay.
Survivor
All
Series
games.
all games.
Yes. So I saw him chilling in the front row near Brock Lesnar guy. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm like, whatever, you people. I'm like, I don't get it. Just pick a, yeah, whatever. So it was kind of interesting because this was my first time sitting finally like hard cam side,
Mm-hmm.
except for the time when I was like seat filling and you saw my embarrassing, no, it wasn't embarrassing, but my, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Stark swooning until Juice
Right.
Robinson. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, so on for me, this is just my comment on the show. Unlike Wrestle Dream, which was amazing top to bottom,
Right.
this one,
Not so much.
not so much. Not so much. I mean, honestly, I the only things that for me really kind of
Mhm.
stood out. One, Timeless Tony Storm in Sheeta. Holy God. All right. I must say, seeing her whole gimmick in person, because sometimes you don't see her whole body, but her whole body language gets into it. And it's just like, it's just amazing. And I just
She
am
really does the timeless gimmick, huh?
She does. She does. And I thought that it was just uh amazing. Now, what is that Myra May or Mariah May, whatever her name is?
Mhm.
Yeah, if you didn't know who she was, you'd be all, who's this like blonde chick giving her flowers? So it was kind of weird, but is what it is, especially if you're not really not watching one show or another with it. So um Julia Hart and Chris Statlander and Sky Blue, I will say this, the right person won. It was one hell of a match. And honestly, like Julia is just so fucking good.
Julie's for somebody, Julia Hart, for this being her first promotion. This is she's gotten her first real training. She got put with the House of Black after that cringeworthy Brian Pillman angle. She's come such a long way and is very impressive, especially in her character work. Like, she sells it well. And if you'd have saw her like 2 years ago to where she is now, you would not believe it was the same person.
You didn't like Varsity Blondes?
God, no.
I did. Because it gave
I
Pillman
just
something, and but Pillman's now in a better place for him. So, I mean, there's that's good. So,
yeah,
Philly should have,
finally, not just the one-off where, he did a little and got
yeah,
to leave,
yeah. I did think the MJF thing was stupid. Him getting hauled away. I'm like, yeah, we know what's going to happen. Tony Khan, you're very predictable. Uh,
Just a
then,
lot.
it's a lot. Um, the now I know you guys are going to say I'm biased, okay, but that ladder match for the tag was pretty damn good. One of the reasons why I'm saying it's pretty damn good is because most of the ladder matches I think the AEW has had, someone has either gotten seriously injured or they get some concussion or whatever. So it's kind of like, why are we doing these still? But this time, I don't think anybody had any injury, anything really, except for Brody, bleeding all over the place. Because that's what happens when you get hit with a ladder, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it was very
Somebody
interesting.
forgot to tell them that the wood, you have to paint it silver.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So it's funny because no, well, they're all black. They painted them black. Oh, whatever. It doesn't show up very well. But anyways, um, but what was interesting about that was the tag teams when they came out. So
Mhm.
it was House of Black got a really good reception because obviously, Brody King from Van Nuys, okay, just right up the road, and everyone loves Brody in LA, okay. Then when you had the Faccione Inglobernables, and I totally butchered that. They had a huge, bunch of people who love Roosh. And isn't his brother Dralistico? Isn't he the
Uh,
original Sin Cara?
I believe so, yes, but there's been like
5
12 of
or
them.
yeah, I don't know, but the original one, the one who couldn't
Yeah, I
see through
think
the
so.
mask.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
so.
Yeah. Well,
One of them. It's so hard to keep a Sin Cara straight. I mean,
yeah.
'cause it's like, which one is this one now?
I don't know. I don't know. Why can't you be like Pentagon and be like Penta Obscuro, you know,
Yeah, so where you could tell
Pentagon
them
Junior,
apart.
Pento El Zero Med, yo, whatever. But yeah, no. So I thought that was very interesting because they had their people. Obviously, FTR. That was a very mixed crowd with FTR. I thought,
Yeah,
okay, and then of course my team, who I knew was going to
yeah,
win.
Ricky Starks, Big Bill.
Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Now that one, let me tell you, when I watch it back, because it's hard, like when you're in it. Because at first I was like, God damn, people are liking this tag team. When you watch it back, it was like they're over so hard. And it's like you guys, they can't disband this shit because it's money right now. It is. And especially with Bill, with that great promo he did last week. You can't deny him. You really can't.
Well,
And it was
and
beautiful.
that's something we touched on earlier, is that Bill's come a long way from, he couldn't handle a lot of the rigors of the WWE, and I get that. It caused a lot and that he needed to clearly work on himself. His tag partner, Enzo, real one, love him or hate him, stood by his side in all of it. Then he went to Impact / now TNA.
Mhm.
And then he's been working himself up. And I think not only was that good for his mental health and his physical health, but it was also good for his performance.
Mm.
Because he's not just doing this and, a tagline. Now he's diverse. He has something
Mhm.
more. He's more than just Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
He's now Big Bill. He's just big. He's the dude. He's,
Mhm. Yeah. And he had some
so,
he had great moments with Brody. Holy crap.
oh,
Like
I bet.
like you were like at first, the first like face off they were gonna have, everyone's not having that. So they all just like bum rush both of them. But it was pretty badass. I mean, I'd love to see them tangle again. I think also Malachi Black had probably, I think, the most phenomenal chair shot that I've ever seen in my life when when it was him and what was it, Dax? No, Cash Wheeler, uh, was gonna, he's running the ropes towards him, and when Malachi Black just like pulled the rope, and that ladder hit him smack in the face, I'm like, oh, the timing on that was just like beautiful because I
Wow.
didn't think that was supposed to happen, but it was beautiful. It was artistry. Did you see that one? That was just
I I didn't. I was
oh,
watching the other product.
it I'll tell you, I think there's maybe someone clipped it on YouTube or something, but it is legit like the best like, ladder move I've seen. Like, yeah, I'd be like, wow, that
I
was
wouldn't be surprised. Malachi
awesome.
Black, even from his indie days, could even in his worst position, even if it was a fail, he still made it work. He made it work
Mhm,
well. That's when he initially went over from the E to AEW,
mhm,
one of their bigger because people are like, well, it's basically the same gimmick. No, no, it's not. He did keep continuity of it, but it's not the same gimmick. And I thought that was, he's always been that good.
Yeah.
And now people are starting to get more of an appreciation for it. It's just too bad they don't use the House of Black more because they should.
Well, they are. I mean, now that they're doing that Continental, whatever the thing, classic or whatnot, um, it seems like they're really trying to push him to do tag. So now him and Buddy Matthews are together while Brody does his shit and the tournament. But the other part that think was a great highlight of the match, and of course,
Mhm.
I'm I'm on Peach Patrol. Yep, there we go. Peach Patrol. I don't know. Does our
Peach
new
Patrol.
network approve of this, or am I
And-
going to get censored?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, it's episode 1, so you know what?
We'll find it out.
We'll find out.
So
I don't know. I don't know.
you,
But
you get your moment of bliss. Here you
I get my
go.
moment of bliss. Okay, so obviously Ricky, I think he's not investing in new gear for pay-per-views unless it's something special. So he was
Mhm.
out there in the white trunks that one of the pairs that I absolutely hate because, well, it can be not flatter. It can be kind of, oh, I shouldn't be looking. But 2, it also eats his butt. His butt eats the tights. And it did that the whole night. And he never pulled it out. Never fixed himself. Nope, not at all. And so, of course, when he won the belt, when he climbed up the ladder, here's me. All I can see was his ass just up the ladder, and it was very hypnotic. And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that was
Well,
yeah.
he's running that pretty Ricky gimmick again.
Oh, he is, but and even Nigel, because I watched it back, and Nigel was doing the whole Pretty Ricky thing, but that's JR's thing. I love it when JR calls him Pretty Ricky.
I
But
just like JR drunk on commentary.
yeah, drunk JR is the best JR. That's all I know.
You want to talk about commentary? There you go.
Yeah, that's some great shit. I'm really not liking Shivani. He needs to not. We need to get rid of
Well,
Shivani on there. But that's just me. That's just me.
I think Shivani has
And
this
Kevin
pricing.
Kelly.
They have too many people at the table.
Mhm.
I think that the 3-man booth is very difficult to pull. I think they need to cut
Well,
it to 2.
a good 3-man was Taz, Excalibur, and Nigel. I thought that they had a really good chemistry. No one said anything stupid, like with Shivani always says something stupid. And like,
Yeah.
but hey. So yeah, that was my moment of bliss because I saw that. And you actually, if you watch it back, when he gets to the thing, you can see me in my baby blue Starks line shirt jumping up and down that they won. Oh my God. People behind me were like, you're really excited about this. Like, yes, that's my boy. And then the lady that was in front of me was like, he's got a nice butt. I go, best on the roster.
The best.
The best. So yes. So that was a very great moment of bliss. I was like, yeah. So it was great.
So, beyond your favorites, did any other match really strike you on the card as being noteworthy?
Oh, Hangman and Swerve. Holy shit. That was a Texas death match, period. I mean, you got the one with it made the one with Starks and Bryan Danielson look like that was, preschool. I mean,
Yeah.
that spot with I don't know if you heard about the spot where Hangman drank Swerve's blood and he like Triple H. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, did he just for me, because all I saw was his back. And I'm like, did he just spit out Swerve's blood like he was Triple H? And then the lady in front of me, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That
I'm like,
I
wow.
really hope that wasn't a shoot, because my God, man.
I don't know. But whatever it was brilliant. The staple gun was brilliant. Swerve throughout the night still had the staples in his face. I was like, great, this is fucking great. So, but I think that it was for people who don't like Hangman, who are like, ah, he sucks. Da, da, da,
Mhm.
da, da, da. It was awesome to see that Hangman could hang, and it was
You
better
could
than
hang, man.
hang, man. Yeah. And then of
What are we, a
course,
house of puns tonight?
yep. And then of course, the Willis's favorite dance, the swerve, the Prince Nana. I will say this. Prince Nana, okay, I used to think that that was really stupid. I see it on TV and I'm like, that's dumb, right? I saw it
Mhm.
once live, I think, and I'm like, it's so dumb. But I don't know what it was, but it just worked. Like the whole crowd was getting into it, which I think that that's probably what it needs. So shout out to you, Willis and Prince Nana, because yeah, that's
Will ain't watching where it passes bedtime on a Tuesday.
no, actually, no, he's probably at wrestling training.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yeah, he's been doing that. So
Oh.
congrats to him, Oasis Pro. He's part of their dojo, learning from the South Pacific Savages, Juicy Finau, Jacob Fatu, and Journey Fatu. That's an incredible
Oh,
bunch of people to learn from. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
yeah, and even Tonga Kid came in like last week, and he was showing me pictures, and he was like, "Who's this old man?" And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh fuck, it's Tonga Kid." Like,
Yeah, it's like, well, man, I feel like an ass.
yep, yeah, that was that situation. Yeah, I think the Adam Cole thing was stupid with MJF. That thing that was dumb. Um, it just made Jay White look like an asshole. Um, which I didn't care for. Kenny and Jericho and
Yeah,
boring.
it feels like a lot of that is a mixed bag of booking. Like it seems great on paper, but in
Mhm.
practice, it's a whole nother matter.
Well, I will be surprised of where they take this next. I would
Okay.
love it if we get heel Young Bucks because I personally think that heel Young Bucks is probably the best Young Bucks because of the sarcasm and everything. Takes it back to Reseda. Um, but I get why they did it because I think it again, it's another one of these, okay, let's let Ricky Starks. I mean, yeah, he already has beaten Jericho twice this year, but he's never wrestled Kenny Omega. And even the other day in the promo, he was like, "You have one who calls himself the best and one who actually is." And I'm like, "Mhm."
You almost wonder how petty that commentary is.
I don't know, but I think that with him, it's true because,
Right.
that's another measuring stick. So he's had Danielson, and then now this will be a good test as well to see, okay, can I hang? He hung with FTR. I mean,
Mhm.
so I think that I think it speaks volumes. It's more of his. And I think that I just wanted to put this out into the universe because everyone's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, who's gonna be the next to go to the Fed?" I think Ricky resigned, and the only reason why is because he's on a bunch of the posters for next year, a bunch of them. In New
He knows
Orleans,
he's
the return to New Orleans is, like, almost at the end of January, near
yeah,
February.
so
Yeah,
he knows that he's gonna get used.
I think so. I think that he knows that now seeing everything that's gone on, yeah. So, but all in all,
He
it was
needs
okay, you know?
so you had fun, it was worth
I
going to.
did. Well, there was one part that wasn't fun, but,
Okay, tell me more.
so you saw that, there's this big, great mystery signing. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's someone that, quote, yeah, he's someone that virtually every wrestling fan loves. And I'm like, who
Someone
could that be?
everybody loves.
Who could that be? And everyone's like, oh, we know who it is. Will Ospreay. I'm like, no, it's not gonna be
Not
Will
everybody
Ospreay.
loves Osprey.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, okay,
Mhm.
he's you have Shivani there. Oh, let's meet the signing, right? And all of a sudden,
Right.
like it was silent for a minute, and then I hear the da 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 da, and I already know what music that is. And I'm like, fuck this motherfucker. So what did I do? I tried to stand on my chair, but I had my heels on, so I took them off and my feet were slippery. So guess what happened? I fell on my ass. And this man was like, damn. He's like, are you all right? I go, yeah, that's karma. I'm trying to flip the guy off, and that's karma. So when I got back up on the chairs, that was there. That was there. And, you can see me if you watch because I'm like right there behind. And it's like, no. And there's one point I waited till it got really silent. And I was like, nobody fucking wants you here, Ocean Spray. Really loud. The guy behind me was like, damn, just tell him how you feel. I go, he knows.
The heat is real.
The heat is real. Now, then it's like he was going on, oh, I can never understand him. He's had marbles in his mouth. Like, well, I could go back to Japan and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, boo. And I'm like, yay. And don't fucking come back. People
And
around me
just
are like,
say-
you do not like this guy. I'm like, no, he's the devil. So I keep doing this. So when they were done, he goes to, the one ring post. Yay, here's me. People are going nuts. Because the other one, people are going nuts. Then he's, gonna leave. So he walks over and then hard cam side facing me. He blows me a kiss. I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, damn bastard. Yeah.
Real heat there, man. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah. Real heat. And then so Tony Khan, I've said this, like, I cannot wait to like see him in person because I'm like, you know what? You said virtually everyone loves that guy. Do not fucking speak for me.
Yeah, and that's something to be said there.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is a fan. No, I think he's overrated. That's my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Am I saying that he can't wrestle? No. Am I saying that he doesn't have charisma? No. I'm just saying he's overrated.
He doesn't have any charisma. He's like a wet rag.
Comparatively speaking, there are far worse.
Who? Name one.
Okay. It is my personal opinion Jade Cargill is worse.
Well,
it is my personal opinion, not because of it. I just do not
no,
like
no.
the delivery of
For what she is. Yeah. But if I were to measure up some of these overhyped guys, right? He's on the top of the list. And then another one who I think is very overhyped, Austin Theory.
Yes.
Way too overhyped. But Ocean Spray is in a league of his own. And
JD McDonough right now is he's another one that I know the guy can be great. I know the way he's being booked and the way he's being used, not so much.
Yeah.
And I get what they're going for, but it's just like, can we not?
Yeah. It's, I mean, it is what it is. You're either going to like Ocean Spray or not.
That's true.
The thing that, for me, that style of wrestling, right now, Sammy Guevara is on the shelf because he hasn't been back since Wrestle Dream because of a concussion. It's that flippy shit. And he's already known and said, he's one more CT away from not being able to do this anymore. And I know Ocean Spray is probably the same way, but he's so dumb. He'll, whatever. It doesn't matter. Even if he his brain turns to mush. I mean, What's the difference right now? Seriously, there's not much of a difference. Yes, I do hate him. And on our new network that we're on, you can at me about Ocean Spray all day, and I will shut you down, just like I've shut him down before verbally at shows. My
That's because
biggest,
fans are first.
well, you know,
And First Sports Network, see what we're saying?
mm-hmm. And if you go back and watch the Super J Cup, the year they
Mhm.
had it, so it was him versus Amazing Red in San Francisco.
Right.
And in the beginning, like as I was booing the shit out you, I was very loud. And
Mm,
he was like, "Oh," and of course I had my villain shirt on, because I'm that kind of person. I'm that
right.
petty. So like he was like, "Oh," blah, blah, blah. And then he says, "Well, he says, I'm the best. I beat this one. I beat that one. I beat this one." And you know what I said? And they go, "You know who you can never beat? Fucking Marty. Because death, taxes, and squirrel beats Osprey. Those are the 3 things in life that are certain." He shut up. But I made that whole crowd turn on him. That's like, if you could do that,
Awesome.
that's like, that's like God status. And I did that. Yeah. Because he
That's
wasn't
fair.
that
All
great.
right. Well,
Anyways,
sounds like you had a great time.
yeah, I didn't appreciate getting that
So,
piss going at me. Did not. Did not. But now I have my 3rd chair. They're in my office at work. Do I need any more? No, not right now. Um, but I know a lot of people are very sour that the West Coast has had a lot of things this year. But you know what, guys? That company's been out for a long time and they were allergic to the West Coast. So
true.
yeah. And
That's
I will
true.
say this, hands down, the best crowds that I've seen have been in Oakland, Seattle. Those are the 2 best ones. And it can rival any of those ones on the East Coast, because Oakland was pretty packed, and so was Seattle. Seattle was really packed,
The
and I'm not
best part
talking about
about
Fort
Seattle.
with that one. So, I think that it's, I mean, if you wanna look at the crowd, they're not the same stale faces that you see on every AEW, you know? So, that's kinda nice. Kinda nice. And that
That's
was my
true.
adventure, like Pee-wee. Yeah. Do I have any more wrestling for this year? No. So
Oh,
it was a good 2023. So
so
here's to what may happen next year, because a lot of people are having change.
mhm.
A lot of people.
Speaking of which,
Mhm.
since we've, you know, cheers to Fans First Sports Network, keeping the lights on a little bit longer.
Mhm.
So, in the news, and I definitely want your thoughts on this, QT Marshall resigned from AEW, wasn't released, didn't run out contract, resigned
Wow.
from AEW.
Mhm.
Like, and to the average person, they're not going to know who QT Marshall was. QT is one of those people that was teaching their talent, working backstage, doing a lot of, like, he was office. He was part of everybody.
Mhm.
Um, and this isn't like, a wrestler threw a water bottle at a promoter or anything. This
Yeah.
was, you know, prior to this, nobody really knew nor cared who QT Marshall was if you weren't really diehard of a fan. That, was been there since, I think, day one.
Mhm. Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's really interesting that he did that. I was kinda
Mhm.
shocked, but it's coincidental, I think, because it came after, Survivor Series in the scrum, because Triple H was asked about Jade Cargill, and
Mhm.
basically, they're waiting for Jade to be ready, So they know that she sucks right now.
She's not ready. Yeah.
She's not ready because they're not going to have her in NXT. They're going to throw her on the main roster. So I think because he was training at the Nightmare Factory, that's where she started wrestling, was at the Nightmare Factory and training with Dustin and Cody and QT. I think that's why he resigned and resigned, is because he mentioned, oh, there's another opportunity, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's gonna go in as a coach in WWE. There's no way. And I think
Well,
to at first work with Jade.
but do you think it's like that this was also like a money was a concern? Because I mean,
Mm-mm. No.
Tony's been throwing money at anybody that even looks like a wrestling star at this juncture, and
Not
top dollar at that.
not necessarily. He's paying top dollar for people who don't deserve it. I'm sorry, but Ocean Spray should not be getting seven figures. Sorry.
Well, unless they've got him locked down, and that's because there was talk that the E had his was
But
looking
here's
at
the
him pretty
thing.
hard.
The E already has a Will Ospreay. His name is Ricochet, and they don't use him as well as they could. And he is
Whatever happened
20.
to that Prince Puma guy? He was really
Yeah,
good.
Prince Puma was awesome. So was that Matanza guy.
Yeah,
That guy was pretty
Matanza.
badass. Mm-hmm.
There,
Yeah.
there's a. It's definitely just strange where those people went.
Yeah. Well, that Jose, the assistant, I would rather have what's his face? Uh was it Mario Cuerto was his name? The
Yeah,
guy
yeah, I
the
think so.
I would rather have him be the manager of the Faccione
Mm,
Inglobernables.
yeah,
I think
that's
yeah.
long names in wrestling. Oh my god!
Mhm.
Like, if it gets so long to where it's difficult for your average viewer to say it's like really long names,
Isn't it
it's too much.
LFI? Is the yeah, LFI. It doesn't look
Yeah,
good on a shirt, you know.
didn't work for AFI.
Hey, they're actually not too bad.
Well, I never said they were bad. I just said the name didn't work.
Well, no. One, that did not work, Alien Ant Farm, but I'm not gonna go down that road. Has nothing to
Nah,
do with sports and sports
I
fans.
imagine so.
Yep, no, yeah, no, has nothing to do with that. But, yeah, no, so I think that'll be interesting to see what happens with QT. But I think
Yeah,
that's where that's leading to.
and that's the thing is if he left, and just kind of spitballing here,
Mhm.
let's just hypothetically say that he left AEW to go specifically to with train Jade up to where they need her. I feel that's a little one noted. I think if he was gonna go, then that means it can't be a money thing because I'm sure he could ask for it. He's been there since day one. He was integral to the product in a lot of respects,
Yeah.
right? I think it's got to be more of a something is going wrong or down in that environment to the point to where he was just like, I want nothing to do with it.
He did say he
So,
didn't like the direction where they're going. So my
right
question to
now, does that, yeah, what direction and to whose end?
yeah, but what do you think the direction is?
I think based, and this is on observation, not based on what anybody's told me. This is at XYZ. I think it has to do with the way the product's being ran. They're spread too thin, and this has caused a lot of group like tribalism in a sense. Like you have the elite and their friends. You have Britt Baker and her group, and this is all clashing. And since Tony, by and large, I don't think he knows how to handle that kind of situation. And he
Yeah.
kind of lets the buck stop with him, and the other guys just aren't covering for him anymore. Because I know, like, when you're in that position, like, to use WWE's example, you had steps to get to Vince unless you were at a certain point.
Mhm.
But he tended to let everybody come in at that point. So it ended up in a, sort of Dixie Carter ABC situation, which we know how that worked out.
Yeah.
So I think it's a complete moral mess. And that's why you're seeing certain talent not there. There's a lot of people talking to the dirt sheets. There's a lot, like, there's just too much, which it's going to implode on itself.
Mhm.
And he
Absolutely.
probably sees it coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that their direction of where they were going, I think it
Mhm.
started when Cody left because it really, and I've said this before on episode 1, that it's one of those things where it it was not the company that it was supposed to be when it ended up happening. And so, like, cuz All In, that's what the purpose was. It was to say, "Hey, us independent guys can do it on our own."
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think that that was the spirit and where they wanted to go with this. But they got the guy who had the money, you know, had other things in mind. This was his sandbox, and he could fantasy book and do all of that stuff and whatever, because he's got his dad's money. Now, if they were to fast forward, if they knew back then what they know now, I don't think that would have happened. That's the landscape would be a lot different. Would they have tried to got a company? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Would it be successful? Not on the level it is, but I think that if it was done right, it could be on the ROH kind of sides of things. But then again, it takes money. So, yeah. But I don't think
Well,
that I just don't think that they should have given Tony that much control, especially because he does not know the business. Because it's not like running a football team or a footy team.
and this is sort of where I'm at with it, is because I watched it, thought it was cool, um, at the start, and they got the money and everything. It was my impression that the concept of it was to be a company that takes care of their own, that aren't gonna, buy based on nepotism, that they were, gonna do it for fun and make money.
Mhm.
Like, that was the idea,
Yeah.
or as it was explained to me and watching from the various media events. And the
Mhm.
core people that they had, who's left? I mean, the real, like, not even half of the original starter set are there anymore.
Nope.
They all either quit, injured, or went to WWE.
Mhm. Mhm.
And whether you like Phil or not, Punk, he's not there to make friends. He's there to make money, and he understands business. He clearly understood enough business to make what he's making, in the process. And there is definitely something to be said about that. Is it, yeah, he might be a problem child, but there were plenty of people out there that could have stopped that, that should have stopped that. It's like they say about Heyman.
Mhm.
Hammond had many fantastic ideas, but you needed somebody in there to kind of curtail those down for being too much,
Yeah.
well beyond his pocketbook. Same line.
Yeah.
You know, some people need that problem child take, and I think that's what, in my mind, if I were to kind of take histrionically, just based on my own experience, it's that, the shit show is going downhill, and a lot of it's because there's no daddy putting people in proper place. Because you can see Cody, with the Rhodes last name. Dustin's getting too fucking old to be doing all that shit. Not that I'm sure he doesn't try,
Mhm.
but you can only expect one guy to do but so much.
Mhm.
You can't expect Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks because, as far as they're concerned, this isn't the same place they started.
Mm-mm.
And that's what I like. I think QT Marshall leaving, resigning because he didn't like the way the company was going, knows that not too far down the line is a comeuppance that's they're not going to be prepared for. Because as we mentioned on the show before,
Mhm.
if it's a pay-per-view, minimum 3 injuries, keeping people out upwards of 3 to 6 months. On the average show, and I'm saying average, not every show, but most shows, there's at least one major injury. Like, yeah, it's great that you have medical staff and you covered them and all that, but the problem is that people are still getting hurt, taking 3 or 6 months. You're rewriting your book.
Mhm.
Like WWE arguably planned some of these things in advance, so they're running a decent story. At
Mhm.
least they are now. But you can't do that if all your people are on the shelf. You just can't.
Well, it's interesting that Full Gear, there were no injuries
That we're aware of.
that were rare, but I don't think there was anything because the ladder match was pretty controlled. And speaking of injuries, Supercard of Honor, guess who's back? And ladders, Dante Martin.
Yeah.
And I swear, if someone gets injured again, they just need to not tag team anymore because yeah, I'm just like, oh, makes me so nervous. But again, I mean,
Look at somebody like, you have these guys like Dan, yeah, Brian Danielson. You
mhm,
have, fucking, God, I'm still not over that. Adam Copeland. You have
mhm,
Christian. You have Sting. You have some of these guys that are on their roster that should not be taking bumps.
mhm.
Like,
And
I
also,
get it. They want to wrestle. That's great.
yeah,
But you got to sometimes protect them from themselves.
mhm,
Because there's at such a point to where you spread out all this big money. And I was talking to producer guy just a little bit ago about this. It took WWE like a decade to, in some respects, live down Owen Hart. And what are you going to be? The company that goes down. Sting got put out of business, and he's smart enough to know to leave. That's why he's leaving. You
mhm,
know, Adam Copeland is like one good neck shot away from being paralyzed from the waist down. He said as much even before returning to wrestling.
mhm,
You know, Brian Danielson's one good concussion away from forgetting where he is.
mhm,
It's just, I get why you get these people, because they're attention drawing. And that will segue into our next spot here when we refill our drinks. But you've you really got to pay attention because there's protecting your talent from doing something that will injure themselves, and there's protecting yourself from liability. And a lot of times they coincide,
mhm,
and maybe that's part of the deal here with QT because he does a lot of their training, or he did a lot of their training, is that he went, you're too much, this is dangerous, this is hazardous.
mhm.
And they're like, well, they're gonna do it anyway. And then he's like, no, I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be that guy. Ah, wow, that's quite a sound for our audio listeners.
Yes. Yes. So,
Nobody's in the potty, I promise.
yeah, no, that was me refilling the drink because
Oh,
Digi said really refilling the drink time.
yep.
So, mhm,
Because we have fans first,
mhm.
sports network. Sorry, we're just very excited about all this.
Are we
You know,
on audio with them? Do they have audio?
yeah, we're getting the audio. That's part of what's new. We're still getting used to it. First episode forever.
Oh, so they get oh, yeah.
Is we've got one other thing. in similar line,
Mhm.
you know, because we were just kind of discussing, why, QT, and we were just starting to segue into, injuries and things like that. Because the more notable people with their name that have left is you have Ric Flair,
Mhm.
who's went over to AEW, who has largely been gone because I guess his energy drink or something, it was some weird present to Sting. I don't understand it either.
All I know is
Um,
now that they have that, like, on the I don't even it's not even a jumbotron, on their, like, set on the 2 sides, it's pretty much there the whole show.
yeah,
It's kinda
that's
stupid. I'm like, yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. But are they gonna have him, take the same? Because it's Ric Flair. He will do it. He's done all sorts of. He elbow dropped a jacket for kicks. That the guy's a junkie on that. So are they gonna put him in that same position? I don't even know why they got him in the first place.
Mhm.
Because it's like the guy needs to be told you're retired, not for the first time, but for the last time, and just keep him out of it. Let him sit to the side. He wants to run a commercial, but it don't trot him out there like it's Weekend at Bernie's. Just stop. Just stop. The guys, when you bring in a guy like that, and we're just on the Ric Flair end of things. When you bring somebody in like that, or like a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or the Rock and Roll Express, it's not a matter of whether they can go. It's whether they should go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you never want that. These people are with the legacy. Ric Flair was, he made. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. He was Ric fucking Flair. You knew who he was. You know, but you're gonna every time he goes out and he makes a complete ass out of himself. Every time he goes out there and he like elbow drops a jacket. Every time he gets all spazzy. Every time he bleeds for no fucking reason. You're just taking that wonderful history and legacy across the territories and back, and you're cheapening it. I
Mhm.
I personally feel,
Yeah. There's no
and
need.
you shouldn't make that okay.
No, and there's no need, for that, because it's just gonna make some of these guys on the roster like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I don't even have a spot, and you're
Yeah,
bringing this old fogey over here," and that's where that's kinda wrong. That's really wrong. And
and
I really do feel bad for, a lot of those guys who really don't have anything. Mhm.
it's like I get why you have some people are there in a managerial capacity, and I'm cool with that. I think that's a great place to be. But if you're doting out somebody's grandpa on the basis of selling an energy drink, and I
Yeah.
get that, and that's all you're gonna do. Let's hope it stays that way.
Oh, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
all big products impact the little products, and that's
Yeah.
something we've said a lot here.
Oh, yeah.
And you were the same problem I have with the Juggalo Championship, whatever the crap in the Midwest. My biggest problem with them is they will sign these guys up to do a match, abuse the shit out of them, put them in these ridiculous fucking situations. And
Mhm.
while it might seem great on paper, the Tony Khan problem seems great on paper, but the execution is disgraceful,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
That I don't know, like I'm sure you've seen things out on the West Coast where it's like, why?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like there's some people that just enjoy your legacy. It's like the Shockmaster had enough comedy to see they do not. I'm done.
Yeah. Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
and
but
yeah, it's kinda tough because actually out west, we didn't a lot of the promotions out here, we didn't get that stuff. If you got one of these old guys, they were doing a signing, okay? They
Mhm.
weren't, they weren't, you know, getting in the ring, or anything. The only one that I could say, I think, as of note that did was, I believe that, who was it? No, actually, no, that didn't even happen. So, yeah, no one gets into the ring, of those guys. It's there for signings because Bret Hart was just at one here and he's not getting in the goddamn ring. No, he was there for a signing and he, did someone there did a live interview with him. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's been by and large what I've seen is, for the most part, some companies are respectful. Then you have like the Juggalo one, they're pretty notorious for doing it. Now you have a company with TV spots doing it, who are bringing in people who are, an injury away,
Mhm.
and that tells, some of these smaller books, hey, if I throw money at some old guy,
Mhm.
I've got no liability, I have no
Yeah.
responsibility for it.
Oh, yeah. I will say that
Mhm.
I personally thought that when Shaq was wrestling with Jade, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
Shaq actually was pretty damn good. So, you
Well,
know, but for what he does, okay. I mean, no one's gonna be like Logan Paul. That's unreal. That's
yeah,
unreal.
that's obscene.
Yeah, like, with him doing spots with, like, Ricochet, like, that one spot, it's like, "God damn." Like, are you kidding me? See, that's why Will Ospreay is nothing compared to Ricochet. He probably would have killed Logan Paul because, yeah, he's hurty. He's not a safe
Uh,
wrestler.
one and one of the things I have seen online, I seen with various fans that I talk to,
Mhm,
is that his match with Rey Mysterio, it doesn't really matter if it's Ray botched his backflip or any of that. It's a matter of this guy having so few very, very televised matches made the right decision, stepped up and caught the man.
yeah,
Some people think that whole "I see what you did, I know what you did." They think it's, and it works the storyline of the brass
mhm,
knuckles. No. I think it was, "I saw you caught me and I appreciate that," because they've never followed up on that angle since.
mhm, mhm,
And for all the people you might like, if you Logan Paul as a social media influencer is a good God, I don't even have proper insults for. But
oh, that's the best.
what he's done better than a lot of celebrities
Mhm,
where he's walked in. He was phenomenally way too talented than he has any right to be,
mhm.
and is very respectful of the business. And that's not something like you can really pin on a lot of these people that have no business being in the ring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Uh, and then we had, you know, Mike, since you were talking about AEW, might as well give time to, a little bit of the other side of that business.
Mhm.
Um, so if you lived under a rock, uh, CM Punk is back with WWE. As he put it, hell is frozen over. Now, it wasn't the WWE wasn't the only company interested. TNA also threw out an offer, but I get it. That's probably not as much money involved. It came about from the last minute. There have been varying reports, yes or no, how popular it is. Now, and this is why I bring this up. Quit, fired, rehired from one company, released from the other company, which apparently uh, a few of the wrestlers were on. Was Brian Daniel? On here we have Brian Danielson was part of the committee that chose to get rid of him. Um, yeah. So
Hey,
there's
they made that
yeah.
public on who was on this committee?
Apparently, some of the names have been released. Yes.
Like who else? I'm just curious
Uh,
because
I've only seen that Brian Danielson was reportedly a part of it, which wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
Uh, but regardless of all of that, now he's back with WWE, and I think that there's from the outside in, if I had no idea of how any of the business worked or any of that, I look at this is the place I used to work where I've quit once, been fired from, or
Mhm.
released,
Yeah.
went to another company after taking hiatus, got
Mhm.
released at a highly publicized point of being volatile
Mhm.
to go back to the other company, what does that tell the younger students of the game, the younger trainees? What is that telling them? And sure, we don't know what's going on in the back. We can only presume to know. Even the dirt sheets, as much as they tell you they know, they don't know. They don't know
Yeah.
because they're not there. Because in my mind, well, it's good business. It makes sense. Punk's name draws. It makes you want to watch, even if you want to see him get his head kicked in. You still react to that name, And John Cena was right. L- Love you or hate you, if the fans really don't want to deal with you, they'll just do nothing. If they're ambivalent to your existence, you're over. It's done. So, I think there's got to be a clean cut. I would honestly think that there needs to be a lot of work to differentiate himself
Mhm.
from some of that behavior. Uh, because I don't want a young guy. Look, there's doing good business
Mhm.
and not necessarily making friends, but doing good business and protecting yourself. And then there's just being a dick.
Yeah.
Like those are two separate entities. Or what is it? It's a phrase I heard. There's doing good business or going into business for yourself. You know, and if you're going into business for yourself, then you're obviously not doing good business because it takes two people to have a match.
Mhm.
Even if it's a blow up doll or a broom or whatever, it still requires a secondary entity.
Mhm.
The reason I don't like Kenny. Oh my god. But anywho, I
Yeah.
mean that's kind of my line. Like they've got to be a very fine line. I mean, it's a good business decision, but they have to be very careful what they teach everybody else. You're going to have
Yeah.
every Tom, Dick, and Diva. I think thinking they can just be however they want. I mean,
Yeah.
where do you say this? You deal a lot with the independents too, like upfront and personal.
Mhm.
You're looking at me like I got two heads, huh? I know. You're not a fan. I get it.
No. And and I mean, most people know why. But, I mean, I'll say this, okay? Um, it's
I mean,
very
without
interesting that
mhm,
a lot of people reacted in a way that yeah, it's like nobody really wants you there. Obviously, not just Seth Rollins, but also Rhea Ripley. Yeah, she didn't look like she wanted him there. I don't know if you saw that. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, "What?" Yeah, girl did not want him there.
yeah,
And
she was cocked back on the stairs. Orton was just like, "Come on, let's get this over with."
yeah. Mhm. And
Rollins was
Dom's just
flipping the
sitting
fuck
standing
out.
there like, whatever." You know? And yeah, and it for me, I won't say it bothers me, but for me, it's like, really? Really?
But
Do we need to really do this because this is stupid, you know? And and I just am like, I'm over that kind of shit. I'm really over that kind of shit. So, Yeah. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, if you take the personal feelings out of it and you just look at this is somebody who's had a history of being very difficult to work with.
mhm,
Um, and this has come, pretty well universally touted, multiple companies, multiple
mhm.
people. This is not supposition at this point.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think that because you've had to talk somebody without getting in the names, you've had to talk to somebody in your real life who's in the business that they needed to knock off this bad behavior because it was killing their career. Am I correct in that?
Mhm. Yep.
And
Yep.
it was for the best.
Mhm. Yep.
And I've had to do it too. It's just sometimes I think people get it twisted. And like, sure, there was a whole lot of reactions on the pay-per-view. Lots of fan cam footage. Now,
Mhm.
how much of that is a shoot? How much of it's a work? We can't really know.
Yeah. We'll never
You
know.
know.
We'll never know.
Now, I think there at least is a minimum of people worried about their, spot.
Mhm.
And I say that with quotes because you don't really nobody has a set spot.
Yeah.
Uh,
People like to
you
think
know,
they do, but
oh yeah,
yeah,
nobody is beyond being fired. Nobody.
exactly. Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you're a Fatu or you're Samoan. It doesn't matter whether your father's been accused of, having people killed in the wrestling business. Nobody's above that.
No.
Yeah, nobody's above being fired.
Mhm.
Part of the shock, I think, was, and this was per, you know, Paul Levesque, is that it came together in like a week.
Mhm.
Like they had just gotten everything ironed out the day
No, I
and
don't
told
believe
no one.
I don't believe
I
that
would.
for a second.
I think it went like this. He left, he put in some calls, there was a tentative negotiation, blah, blah, blah. They made an offer. He was like, no, it's not enough. He got an offer from Impact. And then went, no, that's cool. Gave a lower offer than what he originally asked, and then they bit.
Mhm.
Even if it's just for a smaller, stellar dollar amount, because it got people talking. I love him or hate him, it got people talking. He definitely looks in better condition.
Well, see, that's why I'm thinking that's bull because he knew he was going back. He knew they were gonna take him back. He knew, you know? And that's why it's like, yeah, you came looking like a piece of shit, when you came to AEW, but now it's like, "Oh, yeah, you're this yoked person." And to me, I don't know, I don't buy this shit because it was funny to me that when you watch it and he goes and hugs this dude, that guy works for Pro Wrestling Tees. He was a plant, I think. And on the other side, goes and, whatever hugs these other people, Pro Wrestling Tees people. Everyone's known. I think people knew, so it's bullshit to me that people say, "Oh, no, no, we didn't know." I'm like, "No, you guys did know, you really did. There's no way that you can tell me that they knew because I think everyone did. Everyone knew. So,
Well,
I
and
don't
that being said, you know, that also puts a bad line because if it comes out that everybody really knew what was what, and this is what you're telling the people, then that tells independent promoters that they can just, lie to people whenever for whatever reason. And
yeah.
that's not gonna do you well in business if you start
Mhm.
lying to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So oh man, I all around I think it's really there's some really hinky things with this, but I also look at, everything rolls downhill. If the bigger companies are doing it, the smaller companies will emulate it.
Yeah.
Because some people are new to booking, some people are not new to booking.
Mhm.
Like the FXC guys had apparently an amazing show from everything I've heard. for the first show out. There's some screenshots there, some video making some roll around. We'll definitely have to get a first hand of that.
Mhm.
But that's the difference. So, like the people who run that training school, are
Mhm.
people who are long time legendary names in the business.
Mhm.
So they're not going to fall for that because they know what that kind of problem that can be. Whereas, some Joe Schmo in BF Idaho maybe doesn't quite understand that there's some nuances to all this that you have to kind of follow and respect. Like if you as a promoter don't pay your talent, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
And and this is something that has been addressed before,
Mhm.
as that if you don't just bring in a big name for a one-off to hand them a belt, it doesn't matter. You need to raise up one of your locals,
Mhm.
because they're going to be there. That's the ones you need to keep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's just,
Ugh.
I don't know.
It's just,
I'm over him. I'm just over him. I'm over that whole, I'm just over the whole thing.
oh,
So,
there's an expectation factor that's unfortunate too.
mhm.
Is that there's an expectation factor of what he is. Like he's done one promo, which was more or less, this is where I'm home, this and that.
Mhm.
The same promo everybody makes when they're returning to the company.
Yeah.
Half the dirt sheets are like, oh, they really dropped the ball. Bullshit. This is the same shit they did to everybody else, and you're just bitching because it's him saying it. You expected some, grand, and I get the way he hates the term pipe bomb. I get it. Because that was the most asinine thing they ever could have named anything.
That's so stupid.
Right, and he didn't have any that's not what he ever wanted it to be called.
Mhm.
He said it as a hyperbole and an alliteration, and they took it too far. But if they were
Yeah.
expecting that on his first night back, after clearly he's probably learned some lessons. I imagine somewhere in his heart of hearts, he probably went, now that I've been on the other side of the grass, I realize I fucked up. And that may be the case. I don't know. Sometimes going back to something like that, a place, it's like quitting a job, going to another job, and then returning to your old job because it was a shittier place to work. You thought it'd be better. I think there might be some truth to that.
Yeah, but things don't change. Things don't
Mm.
change, you know? So that's where I'm kind of like,
So you think it's going to be a repeat? And all
"Mm,
this is just going to be a bad example for everyone.
yeah, it's going to be a, oh, I told you so, you know,
That's fair. I
and
mean,
and I personally myself, I'm like, well, yeah, you have no one to blame but yourself,
that's
you
true.
know, and I think that, you know, that in itself should tell you right there all you need to know.
That's a very fair statement.
Yeah, because I
It's,
mean,
it's a lot of wait and see, really.
yeah, I don't know. That's just me, but I mean, honestly, like um, if I were to, um, if I were to like, I don't know, I don't know. I just, it's just gonna happen again. I don't want to say I don't trust the dude, but it's like, bro, it's, yeah, it's, yeah, mm-mm, no. So
Well,
it
I
is what it
it's
is.
only but so much to say that both of us are not just going, oh, this is going to be a shit show one way or the other.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that it's, like it's one of those things where you it's like that people have um I don't even say good intentions, but that people are, I mean, I don't even know. He said he's there for the money, but you know what? At what cost though? It's like, the street goes both ways, right? So I
That's
feel
true.
like I mean, it's I don't know. It's dumb. That's just all I know is that shit is dumb.
Well, we have, whew, we hit a very sensitive subject for us both, and we always like to lead off on a positive.
Mhm.
So, the host with the most, the Miss Amanda to the Jane.
Mhm.
Give us a toast. Tell us something you feel positive about. You're looking forward to.
Well, um, I'm actually looking forward to I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen next with Big Bill
Mm-hmm.
and, the Starks guy or the Booty Man or whatever you wanna call him. Interested to see what happens next. So, is the Jericho Omega match gonna be, um, for that pay-per-view, the last one of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, who knows? Um, it's hard to say, but I
Okay.
think that's something I'm looking forward to. Um, I'm looking forward in a positive light. Um, More Chris Hero. I know he is wrestling, like I said, with Kenta and this weekend. So just seeing him
Mm-hmm.
more out there. And I think, using his influence um as well. So definitely, um one to watch, and I'm glad he's kind of fought his demons and stuff. So makes the world a better
Makes the
place.
world go round. Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So that's me. So what about you? Did you?
Um, I am thankful that we are affiliated with a nice network. Fans first. I
Mhm.
think that's very cool. Um, and I'm very thankful for looking forward to see what Randy Orton does because he is the apex predator. Oh
He looked
yeah,
jacked. I think that he looked the best that he's ever looked in his whole life.
yeah. I do want to see what he does because he's already got a program set. He's already going top of the card, so I really hope he does really well. There's a couple of shows going on in my area that I'm looking forward to hearing about. But yeah, man, there's a lot going forward. We're gonna have like Christmas stories soon, and Christmas wrestling is legit. Y'all just don't know.
Yeah, there's some
Santa versus Easter.
a lot of legit stuff that happens. New Year's, Christmas, yeah,
Christmas is where it's at.
yeah.
But on that note,
Mhm.
I've been Digi. You can find me on Insta, Digi Damon WTR, and
Me? Well,
yeah,
I'm
you.
yeah, me. Yeah. No, and I'm Ms. Amanda Jane. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Ms. Amanda Jane. Or hey, you want to sponsor our like if you want to buy us some drinks, you can find me Ms. Amanda Jane at Cash App. Mhm.
Yeah,
Or whatever it is,
and
$ Ms. Amanda, whatever. Venmo, whatever. PayPal.
yeah. But on
Apple
that
Pay,
note,
whatever. Or
click
go
the pay, send it to Twitter.
yeah, or we have some hot merch that's at our website, wrestlingontherocks.com. So, you can always pick up, stickers, shot glasses, because, of course, we're in the dive bar of the IWC. So it's more fitting for us. So I guess that's another episode 1 in the
Episode
books. Well,
one,
really an episode 1 of an episode 1. So yeah.
and
So
we have been your chaser.
so for producer dude, producer lady, I'd say
Big
it's
heart,
last calls.
last call.
Last call.
Peaches.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to Fans First Sports Network for keeping the dive bar lights on.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks. rocks.